Before we get started in today's video, the tools you will need to complete this job is, I use 1/4 inch, makes it a little easier. Extension, this is roughly about a foot long. I only had a 6 inch, a 4 inch, and a 2 inch. So I put them together, makes a foot long. You'll need that to access the clamp on the throttle body, or at the throttle body on the charge pipe. You'll also need a 7mm 1/4 inch socket. Now, yes, you could use a long screwdriver. This works a lot better. It also will work better when it comes to tightening it. So I use a 1/4 inch ratchet. You don't have to have the one with the offset head, but I like this one. I used it. It's got a nice long handle. It did the job great. That's to take the charge pipe off. When it comes to doing the tensioner, you will definitely need a chrome 27mm socket. Now, I have a lot of impact sockets. The wall thickness is too thick to get in there, so I did have to purchase this one. I did so on Amazon, and I'm going to leave a screenshot of that socket right here. Now, this is a 1/2 inch drive socket. I did not want to use a 1/2 inch drive ratchet because 2 reasons. One, you're going to need just a little bit of depth. So, you know, if you had like a 1 inch extension, would be great. If the smallest one you have is a 3 inch, it might interrupt with putting the ratchet on there. So that's one reason why I use this. The other is because the overall head of a 1/2 inch drive ratchet is typically a lot larger than a 3/8 drive ratchet. And you do have the oil pressure sensor or oil pressure switch right next to the tensioner. So 27mm chrome socket. I have this 1/2 inch to 3/8 drive reducer. That goes like that. If you do not have one, they do have them on Amazon. You can pick them up. That'll be the perfect depth needed to put your ratchet on and get this off. And then, of course, I have I think it's an 18 inch or 16 inch 3/8 drive gear wrench ratchet. Put it on there. And that's it. That is all the tools you need. Quite basic job to do, and it takes about 15 minutes. Another thing I want to say before we jump into the video, I do mention after doing this, we'll start the car up, see if I blow up my engine. The car runs fantastic. So spoiler alert, I didn't blow up my engine. You can do this. It'll be just fine. So let's get to the job. Everybody, Dave here, TMG. Today we are going to replace the timing tensioner bolt, the tensioner itself, on the 2012 Mini Countryman S. So the vehicle has like 140,000 miles, and I'm sure it could use a timing chain. I don't know whether or not it's been replaced in the past, but at the end of this video I do have a before and after of the startup. Hopefully it's quieter when we're done. But anyways, I noticed that when I start the vehicle, especially in the garage, after it starts up, after about 2 or 3 seconds, I hear a little bit like a sawing kind of noise. And I'm wondering if that's a little bit of chain slap. So it could be a worn tensioner, could be a worn chain. I did pull the oil cap off the valve cover, took a little inspection inside. I don't see any broken pieces of tensioner or anything in there. So that's a good sign. But I'm gonna need like probably a year, if I can get it, before I put a chain in this, because we're in the process of a move. We're in the beginning stages of moving across the state. And when that happens, I will get the timing chain done. But until then, I'd rather not waste the time or the money at the moment to do so, especially if it's not needed. I just don't know if it is. And I don't know if this is gonna fix it or not, but for those of you who are interested in replacing this, I'm going to show you what it is, and we're going to talk about where I got it, etc. So, genuine BMW mini part. I called my BMW Mini dealer, and they had it in stock, and they said, Dave, we got it here. It's $145. And I'm like, sweet, 145 bucks in stock. This is the unit here. So it threads into the back of the head underneath the back of the valve cover. What happens is, and if mine's bad, I'll show you, this plunger here can eject itself and the spring can wear out, and it stops the tension on the chain or on the tensioner, whatever part this actually touches. But anyways, $140 in stock. I thought, awesome. Let me get back to you, because I know that FCP Auto actually has this for $75. It's free, like 2 or 3 days shipping. I think I got it in 3 days. And it's a genuine part. So they have other brands. I bought the genuine one. They had some that were cheaper, some Elwin ones. I think they're like 50 bucks. But I'd prefer to put the genuine part in it. For those of you who don't know what FCP Auto is, if you work on European vehicles or own European vehicles, you should be on that website. Back in the day, for me, and I think I'm sure they're still around, there was a company called Worldpac. And when we worked in the dealerships and the independent garages, we would use Worldpac for a lot of our OEM stuff because it was cheaper and we get it overnight. It's the same original equipment stuff. You actually can see there was a sticker on this box that was peeled off. I'm assuming either they got a great deal with BMW and get them cheap and can sell them, or they get them from Worldpac. Or maybe they are basically a Worldpac affiliate also and does the same thing. And this is like the sticker that would have came on it from over in Japan or China or Europe in this case. Looks like this came from Romania. But anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and get into this and show you how we're going to do it. I actually had this apart once, and unfortunately I have a lot of impact sockets, not chrome sockets, and the impact socket was too thick to get in there, because right next to where this is the rear oil pressure switch. It takes a 27 millimeter socket. A stubby works best. This is a chrome one, which has a thinner wall, so I'm hoping it'll get in there where I don't have to take that oil pressure switch off. But we're going to jump into it. I'm going to show you what we're going to do in order to make this quick and easy. At least the way I thought it was really quick and easy. So first things first, the upper charge pipe here. So this goes down to the throttle body. We're going to use a 7 millimeter socket. I use 1/4 inch because it's smaller. So I'm going to use a 1/4 inch ratchet. Unfortunately, I don't have like a 1.5 foot long extension, so I'd use a couple, and a 7 millimeter socket. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, that screw right there, that nut on top of that hose clamp, I'm going to take that off, or loosen it up enough to where this hose will come off, and then I'm going to loosen it from right here. And then I'm just going to take this charge piece off. So crack this off. If that's loose, it'll come off. You take the whole thing out. This sensor right here, the tensioner is actually right next to it. So you can't see it right now because there's a plastic wiring loom. But right next to it, right down there, is actually the top of the bolt, or the tensioner, you know, the nut of the tensioner. And that's where we will take our 27 millimeter and get it off. Once I pull it out, I'll slide the new one in, tighten it down, put the hose back on, and we'll start the vehicle up. I do not believe, from what I understand, you do not have to, hold the tension rails together or anything, because this does not hold tension. So we'll see. Maybe I'll blow my car up. I don't think so, because I know people have done this. So I'm going to throw that on. I'll show you guys as we get through what we got going on. Just like that, 30 seconds later, the hose is off. So I didn't even take it all the way off. I just loosened it up. I took the clamp off this side so it didn't fall. And then you get the full scope of the access of it here. And again, that 27 millimeter goes right here. So I don't know if I can get a view of it down there. Right there. That's the tensioner. So as long as I can fit my new socket between the head of that tensioner and that sensor, we're golden. Alright guys, so I pulled it out, and the new one is on the left, the old one's on the right. The reason why it's oily, by the way, I just thread this in by hand. I didn't snug it up, so it wasn't all the way in, but I did thread it in by hand and realized I wasn't videoing. So, try it again. Anyways, when I unthreaded that tensioner, it literally got to the last thread and ejected out into my hand. So I had to pull the rest out, but it was all attached just like that, but it should look like that. So that's a good thing. Now I'm going to thread this one in by hand. So make sure you got your old washer right there, the new washer on here, and now we're going to thread this in by hand as tight as we can. And it goes just like that. And we're just going to tighten it up by hand as tight as we can, and then snug it down with our ratchet. And then we'll put the hose back on and fire it up and see what happens. So that baby is in as far as I can get by hand. Now we'll use our ratchet and tighten it up. Alright guys, moment of truth. So, tightened it up down there. I'll tell you the hardest part about doing that one when you're installing it is I just rotate the clamp forward quite a bit, slide it on. If that clamp is loose enough, that hose will pop right onto the throttle body without an issue. Then I reach down with one hand, hold on to the clamp, and then I put my 8mm or 7mm on it, and then start tightening up. Once it's tight, come up here, tighten this one back up, and I'm gonna set the phone down and go start it, and let's see if it makes noise still, or the same noise, or if it's better. So I'm gonna rotate this here, and well, here we go. I would say that is worlds better. So for 75 bucks, and literally it took longer to make the video, and I had to go back and take that tensioner out to redo the video. I might have 10-15 minutes tops into this. So I highly recommend, before you spend the big money on a timing set, if you're getting a little bit of noise, just replace the tensioner, because this could be yours. That's not holding good tension. I hope this is helpful, guys. Any questions anytime, leave a comment down below. You can email me, spooledupracing@gmail.com. I'm here for you. I'm here to help any way I can. Again, I'm a retired mechanic of like 28 years, so I've seen a lot, I've done a lot, and I'm not afraid to try things, especially on my own vehicle, to see if I can make things quicker and easier to help myself and help you guys. So take care. I'm going to clean up, and I'm going to take this thing for a little ride and see how it responds. See you guys on the next one. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back sometime soon.